everyone, welcome to a very exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, on Twitter, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Wednesday, guys. I know what you're thinking. This is my first show of the week. It happens. Basically, what did happen is that the week of a holiday, there's not a lot of news that comes out as far as stuff that's worthy to talk about, I think, in my opinion. The only thing that really happened within the last week was Jude Law was cast in the MCU Captain Marvel film as Captain Marvel. Now, for me, it's, okay, good actor in the MCU, great. I don't really have anything else to add about that, so I didn't think it was worthy just reporting on that one little story. But I knew we had the CW crossover coming up this week with Crisis on Earth X, and I knew I was going to talk about that today. I was probably going to talk about some comics, but lo and behold, what do you know? The first trailer for Avengers Infinity War has dropped. So this is just so much awesomeness that is going to be crammed into this episode. I might run a little long. I don't think I'm going to get to talk about comics because I haven't read any comics because I've been too busy finishing up the CW shows and watching that Avengers trailer over and over again, guys. So I'm going to run through those two things today. Tomorrow I'm going to have a show, probably go through some comics, maybe a few other pieces of news, and that'll be it for this week. The reason being, this weekend, me and Lisa are taking our annual trip up to Dallas to go to a Dallas Stars Chicago Blackhawks game. For those of you who know, you know that Lisa and I are Blackhawks fans. I talked about it on the show last month when hockey season started. I was excited for the NHL season to start with the Blackhawks. We used to live in Chicago, and every year since we moved to Texas, we go up to Dallas and see the Blackhawks play. So that is our trip this year. We've taken our daughter every year as well, and so it's become kind of a family tradition to go see the Blackhawks. We get good seats because it's the only hockey game that we see all year long, so we usually get good seats, pay a lot of money, and just become a whole weekend out of it. So Friday I won't have a show, be back on Monday, hopefully with a show. But enough about that. Let's get to the main event. Now, I am super excited to talk about the CW's Crisis on Earth X. It was so juicy and good, but I think we can all say something bigger happened this morning. I wake up, turn on my computer. I knew the Avengers trailer was coming. Yesterday, Marvel came out and said the Avengers Infinity War trailer was going to come out today, but we just didn't know what time. I woke up at 8 o'clock Central Time, and it looked like it had been up for about an hour. Of course, I immediately watched it. Of course, I watched it again and again, and I just watched it 2 more times. So now I'm going to sit down, break it down, talk about it. You guys fire back on social media and the Gmail account and let me know what you think. So just going over some highlights that we have in the trailer. The first shot I want to talk about is Tony sitting there. He's a little dirty. He's a little distraught. What happened? I don't know if that's his hand or if it's somebody else's. I think it's his hand. But he really looks like he's grieving about something. He doesn't look like he's on Earth as well. Just my assumption. And he just looks like he is not in a good way at all. So could somebody die? Possibly. I don't know. Next shot we got looks like Bruce Banner went through the Hulk of Doctor Strange's mansion. They're kind of looking at him like, what? Now, we don't know what happened at the end of Thor Ragnarok. What we know is a ship popped up in front of Thor and Loki, and we're assuming, or at least I'm assuming, that was Thanos. He probably took the Tesseract and kicked the crap out of everyone else, including probably the Hulk. I don't know if this is Banner falling from space going through there or what, but who knows. And then this next shot is very odd, I think, because we have Scarlet Witch and Vision. But Vision actually looks like Paul Bettany. He's not in his android form. So my assumption on this is twofold. Either one, it's a dream. 2, Vision has made like some synthetic human skin for himself. And then I guess the third option would be Scarlet Witch has used some kind of reality-shaping power to make him look more human. I don't know, but in any event, we see them. We can see they care about each other, which was something that started not only in Captain America Civil War, but also at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron when Vision saved Scarlet Witch's life. That's something that's going to blossom, I think, throughout the rest of the Marvel films. I'm very interested to see how they handle it, mainly because at the end of Captain America Civil War, they were still on opposite sides. Scarlet Witch was with Cap. Vision was at the mansion with Tony, although after his hit on Rhodey, he looked very distraught and very disturbed, so who knows, he might have switched sides. Next up, we got a shot of Banner, and then we get a shot of Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson, blonde. That's right, she's not a redhead in this, she's a blonde. It would make sense, mainly because she's on the run. She turned against Tony, turned against the government to help Cap and Winter Soldier escape, and she's undercover. Whether she's working with Cap or not, I don't know, but I'm assuming she changed her hair color to try to hide from those who are hunting her. But in any event, I like her as a redhead. I like her as a blonde. I just like Scarlett Johansson flat out. But where she is in her relationship with Bruce, I don't know. They had that little thing in Age of Ultron. We'll have to wait and see if that blossoms, because personally, I want to do like they did in the comic books and have Winter Soldier, Bucky, and Black Widow, Natasha get together. That's what I want to see, because I think that's a great relationship in the comic books. Whether they'll do it and go that way, I don't see it, mainly because they're already focusing on her and Bruce. Next shot we get that I want to talk about, it looks like we got Doctor Strange, Bruce Banner, and Tony Stark. And I forget the name of Doctor Strange's assistant, but in any event, they're looking at something. They're looking out in New York, and as you can see from the hole in the stairs, that was where Doctor Strange was looking at Bruce, that he came through all shirtless. Next shot that really caught my eye was the Peter Parker Spidey sense shot. We see also right afterwards, there's a big old, looks like, gate that's over New York. Looks like that's where Thanos is attacking, and that's why Peter's spider sense is a-tingling. I like how they did it. In the old Tobey Maguire films, he just kind of like, his eyes bugged out and he had the music. With this, they're doing a little different. You know, his hair stands up. I don't know if they're going to have some little like chime or whatever, like they did in the Tobey Maguire trilogy. But I like that kind of signifies his spider sense, signifies that something's not right, something's giving him the chills. I thought that was a cool shot. And then, of course, we got Loki. Now, at the end of Thor Ragnarok, if you haven't seen it already, I'm going to spoil it, guys. I'm sorry. Loki goes into Odin's throne room to reactivate that demon guy, who I can't remember his name of. And on the while he's walking by, he sees the Tesseract. Well, we know he has kind of a thing for the Tesseract from the first Avengers film. Everyone's assuming, since he is Loki, that he took the Tesseract. And that's why at the end of Thor Ragnarok, Thanos' ship, allegedly, has shown up to get the first Infinity Stone, or the second one, depending on what order he goes in. Loki looks like he's either giving up the Tesseract, or maybe trying to use its power. My guess is he's giving it up. Loki is the kind of guy, he's out for himself. So I can totally see him seeing the all might of Thanos and his army, and what power he is, and switching sides. Money shot right here, guys. We got Thanos. Now, compared to, say, villains on other studios and other comic book universes, this looks a hell of a lot better than Steppenwolf. And it's played by Josh Brolin, and you can literally see Josh Brolin in the face. You can tell, if you know Josh Brolin is playing Thanos, you can see Josh Brolin in that, which means they did a really good job. I just hope the CG on him is going to be better than what they did with Steppenwolf in Justice League. Not that I think it was completely horrible, but I do think it could have been a lot better and should have been a lot better. And then, of course, Spider-Man comes along, guys. He's in his new Spidey suit, or Iron Spidey, I guess how you want to call it. It's all dolled up with a bunch of stuff. His eyes are lighting up. Peter is in action. I'm going to talk about him in just a little bit later. Now, over the next couple of shots, we have T'Challa doing a voiceover over the shot of Thor, Spider-Man. At the end here, I think it's, what's her name? Cabal or something, like one of Thanos' minions. I forget the name from the comic. Throws something, and someone in the shadow catches it. And we come to find out, of course, that person in the shadow is none other than Steve Rogers himself, Captain America. In the beard, ladies and gentlemen. He's all bearded up, and we'll see another shot where he's got kind of the Captain America outfit on, but it looks like it's old and dingy and worn out to where, you know, he's kind of broken. You know, he hasn't worked for the government. He turned against Tony. He doesn't have his shield. He's not Captain America. We're going to find out, I think, in Black Panther more about what Cap has been doing and, what, of course, what Winter Soldier's been doing. Because at the end of Captain America Civil War, T'Challa kind of wants to make amends and offers to hold Bucky in a frozen suspension capsule in Wakanda until they can mind wipe Bucky and get him set straight. Captain America, I feel, might make some kind of appearance in the film because of his invested interest in Wakanda and how I think he's kind of got a little bit of a kinship now with T'Challa, and they've got some kind of a relationship there. But in any event, there's the line, of course, where T'Challa's like, and get this man a shield. Perfect. As we know, Cap does not have his shield, but we do know the vibranium that made the shield comes from Wakanda. Is Cap getting a new shield? That will be awesome. Hulkbuster Iron Man comes out to play. Doctor Strange, Black Widow. Something falls from the sky. And then looks like we got this big old battle. Aliens versus Avengers. It looks like we're in the middle of Wakanda there. And Spider-Man taking on Thanos. And man, watch this right here. Whoa! Vision is getting the Infinity Stone torn out of him, looks like there. As we know, there are 6 Infinity Stones. We've seen 5 of them. I don't think we're going to see one in Black Panther. I think we're going to wait till Infinity War till we can get the last one. But I think a majority of this movie is Thanos going around collecting the Infinity Stones that we know of. And one of them is inside Vision's head. And I think that does not go well for Vision. And then the shot here, this is a really good shot, where Thanos, you see he's got 2 of the stones. So we know, at least in this film, he's going to get 2 of the stones. One of them looks like the Tesseract Stone. The other one looks like, I don't know what it is, the cube or the orb that was in Guardians of the Galaxy. That one was back on Thanagar with the Nova Corps. So we can assume at this point Thanos has already been there to collect it, unless it escapes somehow. In any event, I think Thanos went and just tore up the Nova Corps, and now he's got the other one. He's got 4 more to go, and that one that's missing, I think that might be the key to everything. I think it's that one that's missing, that it's somewhere where I feel like we've seen it, or we have an idea of where it's at, and it's going to be the game changer in this film. I don't know if Thanos is going to collect all of them, because if he does, that would be very, very bad, but also a way to mess with the Marvel Universe. Again, this is all speculation, guys, but I could see Thanos getting at least 5 out of 6 of the Infinity Stones, and we'll see exactly where it goes on from there. Man, look at this shot of him just hitting Spider-Man. That's a wallop, a big wallop. You got Winter Soldier going in, and this is the battle for Wakanda. You got the aliens versus Wakandans, but who's leading the Wakandans? That's right, this here, another money shot, probably the money shot, I guess, of the trailer, if you want to say it. Captain Rogers, or Steve Rogers, leading Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Hulk, and looks like War Machine into battle. Looks like they're going to go up against some aliens. I can see how everyone else would fit into this, except for War Machine. If that's Rhodey underneath there, of course, again, at the end of Captain America Civil War, he was on the opposite side of the rest of these guys. So how it all fits in, I don't know. This could be something where it's at the end of the film when they've all made up and decided to go kick some ass. Awesome. And of course, at the end there, they give this little plug, the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in it as well. Anyone who has seen the leaked Comic-Con footage, we know that they were going to be in it anyway because that was in there too. But overall, a great first trailer by Marvel. Super excited about what's to come. This is the culmination of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I gotta say, I'm psyched for it. It looks so good. Kevin Feige has come out and said Avengers 4 is where it all changes. This is kind of the this is the end of it all. This is the Infinity Stones we've been looking at since 2011 is maybe when the cube showed up, right? In Captain America and in Thor, if I remember correctly. Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, 2011. This is the culmination of Thanos from 2012. It's the culmination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, something monumental in film that every studio has tried to copy ever since and have been unsuccessful, in my opinion. Marvel has pulled it off. Kevin Feige has pulled it off. Looks like we're going to get a great finale. I'm drooling now to see this film and Avengers 4 and to see what's to come, because Kevin Feige said after Avengers 4, which comes out a year after Infinity War, they've got 20 more films planned. This is amazing. I haven't personally liked all the films, but you gotta say everyone in the Hollywood industry, comic book fans, you gotta say no matter how you feel about individual films, as a whole, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios has done something unprecedented that will forever be in Hollywood history, in my opinion. So, sorry, I went on a big old unabashful praise there, guys, but this trailer's got me psyched and all the possibilities that come with it. Fire back, let me know what you think, guys. Facebook group, of course, the good one. Twitter, Gmail account. Let me know what you think. Let me know your theories. What do you think based on the trailer we're getting now? We all had our theories before the trailer. This is our first trailer. Now let me know what you think now about what's going to happen in Avengers Infinity War. Okay, moving on to the second and last story of today, guys. Well, the time has come. It is the CW's crossover time. Several years ago in Flash Season 1, we got our first crossover with Flash and Arrow. Then they incorporated Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl into the mix last year for a 4-part crossover. But to be fair, that really wasn't a 4-part crossover, more like a 3-part crossover. But this one takes the cake, okay? We all saw Justice League a couple weeks ago. We were all psyched about it. I had a couple geek out moments when watching Justice League, especially when Superman showed up behind Steppenwolf. You got the little Superman theme playing and he punches the crap out of him. I geeked out in those moments. Nothing compares to the measure I was geeking out while watching this 4-episode mega awesomeness in the DC Universe. I mean, oh my god. I saw those first 2 episodes that first night, and I thought, wow, this is really cool. I really hope it doesn't fall flat. I watched the last 2 episodes this morning, and it not only does it fall down, it raises it up more. I was even more excited watching these last 2 episodes than I was about the first 2 episodes. This is awesome, guys. I mean, anyone who is a fan of DC comics or comic books or superheroes cannot deny this thing was awesome. Way above what last season was. Way above. I love the Arrowverse and how they have these B and C rated characters from DC Comics. And now they're going down even further with bringing in the Ray. I mean, the Ray is an okay character. I'm not a big fan of his, but I know who he is. A lot of people don't know who he is. Now they do. He's not a B-rated character, maybe C to D, but they're taking these characters that are further down the list in the DC Universe and putting them front and center and making them interesting. And that's what I've loved about the Arrowverse. The movies, you got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. That's fine. That's the A-team. But over the last couple of years, CW and Warner Brothers, they have been able to give us phenomenal characters that are not main stars in DC Comics, but made them important and made them fun to watch. The thing I enjoyed most about this crossover is, like, unlike the last crossover we got last year, this is one complete story. I felt like last year, the Flash episode made me focus on Flashcast, Arrow episode focused on Arrowcast, and then Legends of Tomorrow, which I wasn't a big fan of last year, focused on the Legends cast. This, it's all evenly across all 4 episodes. It's one giant story, and I really hope I can find some way to watch all 4 episodes together without commercial interruption. Just one big, like, 3-hour movie. I'm definitely going to watch it again. How I watch it again, I don't know. I'm hoping the CW app that I watch it through, after about 2 or 3 weeks, they don't do commercials if they've been on there that long. I'm not sure. I've never watched anything that old before, but I'm definitely watching this again. It was so enjoyable. Okay, gonna take a step back, and I just want to break down maybe some characters, storylines, kind of go through it all, and then, of course, you guys fire back on the social media account and let me know what you thought. Starting off, Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, the guy who started everything. In this one, he's kind of dealing with his own issues with Felicity and how they feel about each other. I thought he was fine. I mean, he didn't have any big things to do. He was just the leader. He was Green Arrow. He leads this universe, and that's what he did. That's what he did throughout it. He met his doppelganger. It was fun. You know, he was fine. Then we got the Flash, Barry Allen. It's his wedding at the beginning that he's supposed to be getting married to. All fine and dandy. I love the scene there. Of course, as you know, guys, I'm spoiling. This is all spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, pause it, come back, let me know. I love the scene with him and the waitress. Now, for those of you who don't know, allegedly that's supposed to be his daughter from the future. Him and Iris' daughter from the future. Now, I don't know if they scripted it this way or if the actress just played this way or if that's just how she acts, but her mannerisms and the way she talked, I felt like it really was a combination of Barry and Iris in the way she was talking. And I don't know if that was scripted that way or if she wanted to do it that way, whatever, but she pulled it off perfectly. I don't know, again, if this is something to come, if she's going to come back. It'd be interesting to see her come back, but at the same time, maybe not. Maybe just a nice little Easter egg we get in there, but in any event. And of course, the big thing with the Flash is you have the return of Reverse Flash, aka Eobard Thawne. And in this one, he's not played by the guy who played him in Legends Tomorrow and otherwise. He's got played by Tom Cavanaugh, which is how we first met him in Season 1 of The Flash. Now, it has to do, he said, with, you know, story-wise, how Barry first saw him. Really, what it comes down to, I think, is the fact that they already had Tom Cavanaugh in the role playing Wells. So why cast somebody else when you can just have him play two parts as well? And it worked fine because Tom Cavanaugh did a great job playing Reverse Flash that first season. And he does a great job playing Wells. He's a good actor, so throw him in there. That's great. He's fun to watch. I liked him as that character. No problems there. Our other star, I felt like the 3 stars of this was, of course, Supergirl, Kara Danvers. She had a bit of a challenge this crossover because she was facing a doppelganger of herself who was pretty much the same powers, same strength, and a little more ruthless. Now, the plot line, of course, as you guys know, because you've watched it, right, is that they come over from Earth X to get Kara because they need her heart to transfer it to Earth X Supergirl, or whatever they call her. Otherwise, she's going to die. And at the end, she does die. She doesn't get the heart. Boo-hoo, sad, whatever. Everyone, the villains all die except for Flash, who lets Thawne go because Barry doesn't kill. And that's fine. I think Thawne is such a good character throughout this Arrowverse. You shouldn't kill him. I mean, evil Oliver, evil Kara, those were throwaways. You know they were going to go at the end of this crossover. But Thawne is someone who's been around since the beginning of the first season of Flash. He showed up in Legends. I think he's going to be around for a long time, so why waste him, you know? And then Thawne, of course, at the end said, you don't know what face I'll have next time I see you. So that means they're probably going to bring in the other actor next time we see Reverse Flash in the Arrowverse. There were so many geek out moments in this. I mean, like I said, Justice League had a couple moments of geek out. This is where, like, the whole thing, like the last 2 parts of this crossover, I felt like I was watching an episode of Game of Thrones because I was getting so excited from what I was seeing, and I was so invested in what I was seeing. I was yelling at the TV, talking to the TV, and I do that when I'm, you know, excited about a show. And while I think all these shows are fine, I haven't been that excited about the CW shows in a while, and now I'm jazzed. This crossover worked so well. Of course, I cannot go through this without mentioning my favorite line. Kara shows up with a ship, turns to her doppelganger, who is a general, and says, "General, would you care to step outside?" And I flipped out. Major callback to my second favorite badass line in movie history, Superman 2, was when Superman flies to the Daily Planet because Zod and his minions have Lois and the crew held hostage. He shows up and he says, "General, would you care to step outside?" My second favorite badass line in movie history, right behind Jabba, "This is your last chance. Free us or die." We all know that's from Return of the Jedi. But they did it. They paid homage to that, and I think they couldn't help themselves but do it. I flipped out. I cheered. That was a great moment. Another great moment, of course, Flash, Red Tornado, Ray. They're fighting. That's awesome. There were just so many good moments that made me realize how much the writers and directors and everyone involved in these really have a grasp of the DC characters and what gets us excited about them. It was just phenomenal on every level. Now, you can't really have a good crossover event in comics without an important death. Any good crossover in comics usually involves some kind of death. In Civil War, you had Cap dying at the end. In Infinite Crisis, Superboy died. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, Flash died. And in this crisis, we had one half of Firestorm bite the dust. And I gotta say, I cried. When Martin went down, they've been playing it off all season on Legends, how he wanted to leave to go be with his daughter and his grandchild. And they were trying to figure out a way to make him leave. And this was a way to do it. I knew when they got to the warehouse and bullets were flying, I knew he was going to go down. I knew it was going to happen. And the fact that he sacrificed himself, that he took that serum to save Jackson and kill himself, it was great. It was such a good way to go out. I expected it because the actor, Victor Garber, I knew he was going to leave. I knew they were setting him up to leave, and the whole point of them trying to separate Firestorm throughout this season of Legends was to get him to exit. And I knew when they got to the warehouse and bullets were flying, that's where his exit was. He was going to take a bullet for the team. And I'm not even that big of a Legends fan. Like, I really have not gotten into Legends of Tomorrow until this season. And I really don't like Firestorm, to be honest. But having gone with these characters for several years, and the sacrifice that was made, and the way everyone played it out, phenomenal. I cried twice. I cried when Jefferson and Martin were in that infirmary, and then I cried again when Jefferson was talking at his funeral. Emotional. It was so good. Such good television. A high point in the Arrowverse. Hands down. I love it. I love it. You know, it was so good, guys. I mean, come on. You gotta agree. Even people on Twitter that I've seen have talked about how much better this is over Justice League the film. Now, granted, Justice League has its issues, and I still enjoyed it, but I enjoyed this crossover so much more than what Justice League ever was. Could be because I've invested in this world for 6 years now. Has a lot to do with it, but that, again, that refers to my love of television over movies, because television is an investment. You have a longer time, you go deeper with the characters, you care about them more. It makes sense. I guess really my only complaint about all of this is the lack of time some characters got. And we knew in a big crossover like this, and all these characters, there were characters that weren't going to get enough screen time than what we wanted. You had Team Arrow with Mr. Terrific, Black Canary, and Wild Dog. They had a part to play, but they really didn't have any character arcs to go for. And then you had Wally West, who showed up for the wedding, did that badass like Michael Jackson spin move with a bullet, which was cool. And then he took Joe and his girl to go be safe, when really he could have helped Flash take down Thawne. But at the same time, I think that's something Barry had to do for himself as a personal character arc for him, so I understand. But there were other characters that I wish had more screen time. What I don't understand, too, is Ray, the Atom, knows Barry and Iris. Now, like, half the team showed up to Barry Iris' wedding, and the other half didn't show up. Now, I know why Vixen and Commander Steel didn't go, because they're the newbies. They don't know Barry and Iris very well, but Ray knows them pretty good. So why wasn't Mr. Palmer at their wedding? And why was Mick there? He was a villain who's tried to kill Barry several times, which made for a good joke, and he's a fun character to watch in the mix. I get it. But I would like to think that Ray would be at the wedding before Mick would. I don't know. And what kind of guy would I be if I didn't mention Alex and Sarah? I saw from the trailer from this week or two ago that I felt like they were going to hook up. And they did. And I liked Alex's reaction to it because she had just gotten out of a serious relationship where she felt like Maggie and her didn't want the same things. And then she starts questioning if breaking up with Maggie was the right thing to do. And it took a talk with Sarah to make her realize it was the right thing to do, that the one night stand with Sarah doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything between her and Maggie. But I gotta say, I'm shipping, I guess is the term. I'm shipping Sarah and Alex to do it more. Now that they know those two are out there, they obviously are attracted to each other. And we know that they can cross dimensions and time. I would love to see an episode of like Alex popping up in Legends or Sarah popping up in Supergirl. That would be cool. Couple other characters I miss. No Superman and no Martian Manhunter. Kind of bummed about that. I was hoping we might get a little tease of an Earth X Superman, but we didn't see that at all. But in any event, oh well, we move on. Like I said, there wasn't enough time to take care of all these characters. You had your main characters, Kara, Oliver, Barry. We all know those are the main three in this universe, so you had to take care of them. And to this day, I'm still bummed about last year's crossover, or last year's season of Flash, how I felt like they really could have taken that opportunity with Flashpoint and brought the world of Supergirl into the Arrowverse. Make them all the same Earth, put them all together, because that's what happened, Crisis on Infinite Earths, right? Way back in the 80s, you had all these multiple Earths, and some of them were going to die, so they combined them all into one and kind of reset the timeline or the universe. I would have loved to have seen them do that. I still felt like it was a missed opportunity because I still feel like Supergirl is so separate from the rest of them. I'd like her to see her and her other characters, like Alex, mingle more with the rest of the Arrowverse. But that's just my personal preference. Maybe you guys feel differently about it. Okay, skipping ahead to the end, we see the marriage of our two main Arrowverse couples, Barry and Iris, and then, drumroll, Felicity and Oliver. They both get married at the same time by John Diggle. Everyone knows me, knows I hate Olicity. I do not like Felicity and Oliver. I think they are part of the reason Arrow went downhill the third and fourth season. They got them back together this season. I don't feel too bad about it, to be honest. Of course, I knew it was Avengers. I knew it's where it was going. But I still feel like these characters don't belong together. For this scene, it was sweet. For this crossover, it was nice to see them have their relationship issues. But I don't know. I like what they did with them in this crossover. But I still, as characters, don't feel like they should be together. Mainly because I think Oliver should be with the Black Canary, whether that be Laurel or Sarah or Dinah, I don't know. But any event, it's here. I think they're going to ride the Olicity train all the way to the end of the series. It's going to bug me probably till the end of the series, but I'll just have to make do with it. In any event, guys, I could talk about this forever. There are so many great moments. I love this crossover. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it. Oh, man. I'm almost tempted to get Lisa to sit down and watch. I know she's not in these shows. She watched a little bit of Flash, and then she's seen various episodes of the other shows with me over my shoulder. But I'm so tempted to get her to sit down and watch it, because as much as I love this over Justice League, I want her to love it over Justice League too. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But in any event, it was a super awesome day, guys. Okay? If you have not watched Crisis on Earth X, well, then I spoiled some stuff for you, so I'm sorry about that. And if you have not watched the Infinity War trailer, watch it. Oh my god, guys. This was like a super geek out day. Now I go and get to spend the rest of my day reading comic books. It's awesome. I love it. This day is like top 10 in geekdom. Okay? The only way this would have been better is if they actually would have released Avengers Infinity War on today. You know how I said a couple weeks ago there was a big geek day with Battlefront 2, Punisher, and Justice League? This day almost beat that for me. Given the fact that I don't play Battlefront and I still haven't gotten to finish Punisher, I love this day. This day is awesome. I know, I'm geeking out. This is me geeking out. I do apologize, but it's an awesome day, guys. Tell me what you think. What were your highlights from Crisis on Earth X? Tell me what you liked about the Infinity War. Tell me your theories, all that stuff. I want to hear from you guys. This is Dayspring Discussions. Let's discuss it all. Okay, I'm done. I know I ran quite a bit over my usual show. I probably should have split this up into 2 episodes, but I couldn't help myself. I haven't given you an episode in like, what, 5-6 days, so there it is. This more than makes up for that. Alright guys, fire back. DayspringDiscussions@gmail.com, the Facebook group, Twitter. Let me know. I'll be back tomorrow with some more news and hopefully a couple of comic reviews. And until that time, may the Force be with us all.